All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just give you guys two problems I want you to work on. Let's see, we'll just call them, let's see, 2A, not, because the last problem I gave you was a 1A and B. I'll give you a 2A and B. So 2A is cosine negative 210 is A, and then B is secant of 11 pi over 4. So first step, we need to find the coterminal angle that's in that 0 to 360 range. That's going to be our best bet to work with something that's a little easier. So I've got negative 210. I'm going to add 360 to it. That's one positive rotation that will pull it into the positive degrees. So if we look at that, that is a positive 150 degrees. Once we find that 150 degrees, we need to, I'm going to draw the angle. That's 90 plus another 60. That's right about there-ish. So we need to figure out the reference angle for our triangle on the inside. And that reference angle is found by going 180 minus 150 because it's in quadrant 2. That gives us a reference of 30 degrees. Now our last step is to go ahead and look at what cosine of 30 degrees is. If you guys look in your table, you guys will see that cosine is negative in quadrant 2. And so that's going to be a negative cosine 30. And at that value, it is a negative root 3 over 2. And you are done. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. So your first step, find that coterminal angle. 2, find the reference. And then solve. And it's important that you're doing it without a calculator, because you guys can do this all by hand. Now, right now you have about 4 different resources to look at tables and values, and I'm going to give you one tomorrow. That's going to be a one-stop shop. I think there are 55 pieces in it. It's a big thing, but the best thing about you guys having this whole, COVID thing, for math at least, is that you don't have a 5-minute unit circle quiz. So that's a bonus. So be thankful in that sense that you don't have to do the entire thing by heart in 5 minutes. But you'll have it with you no matter what, and that becomes your toolkit for the unit. So let's go ahead and do B. I got a little sidetracked, but you guys should expect that from me now. So B is 11 pi over 4. We need to look at getting it into that first rotation. Since we're doing over 4s, that's going to take us into, let's see, a whole rotation around is 8 pi over 4. So we're going to take 11 pi over 4 and subtract 8 pi over 4 to find that coterminal angle. In this case, it's our radian. That gives us a 3 pi over 4. So 3 pi over 4, that's that. And build our triangle down. If we're in the unit circle, that's what we're looking at. So if this is 3 pi over 4, and we're in the second quadrant, we need to find our reference angle by subtracting it by pi, which is pi over 4. Now, as you get going with these, you may not have to do the math to it, and you may be able to look at that and go, well, that's a 45-degree angle or a pi over 4 reference angle. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to erase that scratch work so I have some room to work. But now what we're going to look at is, first off, secant is negative in the second quadrant. So we're going to be looking at a negative secant pi over 4 to tell us what our answer is. Negative secant at pi over 4 is going to be found on that table once again. Instead of 30, 45, 60, pi over 4 is the same thing as a 45-degree angle. So you are going to find secant at 45 degrees to be root 2, and don't forget that negative. And that is your answer. So there are definitely some steps going into it. Make sure that you are understanding And I'll attach a couple links to some extra examples at the end of the lesson. But this is definitely very, very, very important to start understanding how to solve these.